you're not allowed to wander away from the computer. And like we are just getting ready to record. And Paul is like, I have to go change my shirt real quick. And he walked away for like 15 minutes. So not just like, hey, hold up, I'll be right there. Like nothing like that. No, this fool walks away for 15 minutes and left me to my own devices on the internet, which
Never a good
is a
sign.
mistake for everybody involved. And ordered a bunch of new movies. So thanks a lot, you asshole.
Which means I got more to watch now on your movies anywhere.
So
I'm
you're
sorry
really
about
just
that.
saying that you did this to benefit yourself.
Potentially, yes, potentially.
Yes, potentially. Okay, well that's nice. That must be great for you. I'm so thrilled that you're so happy with yourself. But you know what, man? I got some bangers, but I think there was something much more important that happened this morning. I'm glad that this is happening on one of the weeks that we're actually here, like not behind the Patreon wall, which would
Yes.
make it weird. But Doctor Who is officially coming back.
That's why I changed the shirt.
Sans
Everyone,
Disney.
oh wait, this shirt instead.
Yeah, I love it. Sans Disney, which is not like a huge shock. We all kind of knew that that was pretty much going to go that way. It had been rumored for a while, and frankly speaking, I don't think that Disney as a company understood the IP and really held on to it in any regard that
Shocker.
mattered. Huh?
Shocker. Really, it's a shocker at this
Yeah,
point.
really.
Disney
Like,
not understanding an IP at this point.
we'll get into it. I mean, actually, that kind of goes to this entire movie while we talk about it. But I digress. The truth of the matter is like I'm happy Doctor Who's coming back. I don't love that it's not till next Christmas. I think that's such a fucking waste of a year and a half of time off of a cliffhanger that like at least now we know for sure that Russell T Davies is coming back to write it, which means that we will get like a real follow-up to his ending of season 2, and we're getting a new season. They said we'd find out more about that in due time. It just sucks because it feels like we waited for so long for an answer that we kind of knew was coming, only also to get hit with like, and we still have to wait another year.
I will say this. I think, honestly speaking, I'm hearing what you're saying, but at the same time, I'm actually happy because, like, we have, like, it says Christmas special next year. That's the earliest I could ever think it could possibly be ready because we were in this limbo anyway. We were like, well, we got to figure out the limbo. Then we got to figure out what we're doing. Then we're going to have to shoot. I actually wasn't expecting anything until 2027 at the earliest, honestly, already. So getting a Christmas special at the end of next year, I think it's a great way to bridge it. That's the best of the possibilities that were out there at this point, to be completely honest with you. I'm actually surprised we got this news. I have a feeling that the BBC or Bad Wolf or whoever, the combination of went to Disney and said, all right, it's time to shut it off the pot. We have your 26 episodes or whatever it is. I think Disney was willing to wait it out for to see what happens with the spinoff, which I don't know why that would matter because I can't see the spinoff getting like massive boosts of numbers so much that Disney would change its mind. But I think it was kind of one of those things where like, all right, should I get off the pot time? And Disney's like, well, all right, fine, we'll just finish up. And that's when the news came out also that War of the Seas not being it's going to be out in December in the UK and Britain BBC, and it's going to be in Disney Plus in February, like 2 months later. The hell is that? I don't get it.
I know.
Whatever.
That whole thing is garbage.
But the idea is, all right, shit right off the pot. Disney's out. Good. Now we can move forward and start figuring out what's going to go on. So we have
I'm 100% with you on that. Don't get me wrong. I just wish Disney had been more upfront than deciding now.
I agree. But I actually expected them to be even worse. I expected them to wait till I expected not to hear anything until after War of the Land and Sea. Because I was like, why would they announce this now? And basically, you're making War of the Land and Sea a complete like dead duck, like lame duck kind of situation. But at the same time, it's not bad for us. It's not bad for us now because Russell T Davies is staying on board. So it's not like it's a lame duck for us. It's a lame duck for Disney because they don't care about it anymore. But the storyline, whatever is going on in there, can still be picked up now when Russell T Davies and BBC come back and figure out what they're doing with their next part or whatever they're doing. If it's just BBC, it's just BBC, whoever. Either way, the storyline is not a lame duck. That's a good situation for us.
No, it is. It is. I'm just glad we have any actual information at this point. Especially like this came directly from like the Doctor Who website on top of it, which was like great. They 100% dropped it this morning, like first thing in the morning, so that it would lead the news cycle, which was smart and great.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad to hear that like say what you will about Russell T Davies and the new era. Like, I am glad that he's coming back to at least do the Christmas special. It sounds like he's probably running the next season too. We just don't know yet.
Yeah, that's
They
I feel
really
like it is.
said, but I'm glad that we're getting something, anything. I mean,
Yeah.
thank God that I like the audios and stuff because those are going great. But like for the show proper at this point, like on television, I'm glad that we're finally getting any answers because it wasn't that long ago that we were over the moon that it was going to Disney and gonna be on Disney Plus and like gonna usher in this entire new era of thing, only for it to like fall on its face because Disney didn't know how to handle the property and how to sell it. And they didn't bring over the entire catalog. So like you have the 60th and on and only that. And now that's the question is does that stay on Disney Plus or
I don't
does that
know. That's not a very interesting question. I wonder if the BBC would even like. I almost think that they should just keep it on Disney Plus because I think it's going to cost. Disney's not going to give it to them for free, which obviously I get that's a business thing, but like BBC, spend your money on the future, not the past at this point. If you do anything with the past, just make sure you get the rights back to the rest of the eras and stream those.
right?
But they might want to. Maybe Bad Wolf will put up the money. Maybe they'll do it because they want to put it all back in the same spot. Especially as it is now going to be a continuation. Obviously, the RTD writing, which is a big deal. Like you said, I kind of glossed over it myself. RTD definitively at least coming back for the Christmas special, most likely beyond. That wasn't
Yeah, most
confirmed who he's
likely
going beyond,
beyond.
but mostly beyond. Either way, even if he's not coming back to go on, he will have the time set up, and I think he's a good enough writer where he can go, okay, I have this one episode to explain the finale and set up the next season. I can do that, like no matter what it is. That's so I think that's a good. It's good for us as well. I'm excited about that for sure.
No,
Yes,
100%. So, I'm gonna say that this is good news overall.
yes,
Um still still not thrilled with how things went overall. And that's gonna be a thing that sticks with me for a while. I feel really jaded about the entire situation, frankly speaking.
yeah.
But
What
I'm just glad
a
we have information, man.
disaster! Like,
Oh, it was a total disaster. And honestly, so this goes to a bigger conversation that you and I have been having over the last week or so in
let me
light of
just
that.
interject real quick. I just want to say before we get into this, I know we're going to get into the other thing as well. I just want to say, like, it's amazing to juxtapose where we were when this was announced that Disney was getting Doctor Who. We were like, that is great. That is awesome.
Yes.
They're headlong into the streaming world. We're going to get the entire. Disney's got to wait to buy back the rights to the one, obviously, because they're on HBO Max. We understood that. Okay, we get that. They'll wait it out. We'll get the entirety of Doctor Who as a Doctor Who universe on Disney Plus. I'm excited. Disney Plus for years. They'll have the money. They'll have the budget. Everything. How quickly did that turn? Holy shit!
No, it's crazy. And the truth of the matter is I think that this is just another in a long line of dropped balls by Disney
Mm-hmm.
over the last 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we've been covering the Marvel movies on the Patreon side of things, and we've been talking like the MCU specifically, and we've been talking a lot about that because we're getting into that era where Disney is a lot more involved. And it's not necessarily that I think that the movies have been bad, but like the TV shows and stuff, we've gotten into it a bit, is that they're kind of a mess and they drop the ball. Then you have this news come out over the last week about the Ben Solo movie that Steven
Yeah, let's get into
Soderbergh was
that.
going to direct with Adam Driver, and Disney dropped the ball on that. And now the the internet's been really loud for about a week. I won't be surprised when they reverse course, not if, when at this point, because even like the news has been so bad that in the follow-ups on like the playlist, they said that Iger's potential successor basically lost the job on after canceling this. So like they have this nasty habit of dropping the ball with IPs. You could even point to the Muppets in like the
Yeah,
lack of what they've been doing with the Muppets. Which is funny because you've been watching through all those and you just finished that literally last night.
absolutely. I actually finished the Muppets Haunted Mansion this morning. Actually, I
Oh,
actually
this
finished that
morning.
this
Okay,
morning.
my bad.
This morning. Yeah, I finished. I did watch the Muppets Most Wanted, which surprisingly I had never seen. I kind of thought I had seen it, but I'm watching, going, I have never watched this. I realized I never got it. I never actually had. And it was good. Not as good as 2011. is bona fide
2011 is the best one since the
best
original.
easily. I mean, I honestly could. I don't know. It's hard to say. Like I put the original as the top dog, but this one's right. It's like 1A as far as I'm concerned. It was that good. But then Most Wanted just kind of like felt like exactly what it like. It was modeled a little bit after Great Muppet Caper, somewhat.
Yeah. Oh, it's
And like
100%. It totally is.
and it basically feels just like kind of like it's not as nearly as good as the first one. Still cute, still good, still delivers overall, but like it just felt like that kind of like step down, unfortunately. And then all of a sudden it's like, wow, it took that long to get Disney Haunted Mansion made, and Disney Haunted Mansion's again cute. It's fun. Although the Kermit voice is fucking
Oh,
disaster.
the new Kermit voice is not
Oh,
good. He sounds like
oh,
he's been smoking 6 packs of cigarettes a day.
oh. Like I'm like, who is that? Like if I'm watching like Muppets, I can put on the background. Like I actually was like, I turned my head away. Is that Kermit? I'm like, yep, that's actually Kermit. Mother. Oh, okay, whatever. But yeah, but I digress from that. The Star Wars thing is absolutely a disaster to me, and it's kind of funny. It's the worm is kind of turning a little bit on Kathleen Kennedy now, who has gotten slaughtered in the press since like I don't know, since like the
What
Last
have you and
Jedi.
I been
Honestly,
saying for so long, by the way?
absolutely, it wasn't her.
It
It
was
was not
never
her.
her.
It was never her. And there are some still haters out there that are going to point at things, but that's whatever. The idea is that it seems like Disney has taken an active role up top to kill things that they thought weren't. I mean, they killed this movie, The Hunt for Ben Solo. Let's put it this way: Adam Driver. If you hadn't heard the news, then you're probably under a rock. But Adam Driver let the world know, and Steven Soderbergh backed him up and commented on it, that he had developed a movie with Steven Soderbergh post Episode 9 called The Hunt for Ben Solo. It was a great script. They had Scott Burns come in and help finish the script. Scott Burns was paid like millions of dollars to do it, and this was like an expensive development. Everybody on Lucasfilm was board. Kathy Kennedy, Carrie Beck, Dave Filoni, everybody was on board, was excited, loved the idea. Not only was this all right, they were ready to shoot. They were within like days of starting. Basically, they just
Yeah,
needed
they
the
had
rubber stamp.
all the crew was already picked up and like ready to go.
They just needed the rubber stamp from Disney, and Disney goes. Alan Bergman took extra long to read the script and then said no because I don't know how Ben Solo is still alive. Bitch, you just had a movie where you had somehow Palpatine returned. You are in a franchise where Darth Maul was cut in half, and he's back. Like it's a space wizard kids movie, and you're gonna worry about how does Ben Solo come back to life? Like you have an A-list director. The best thing that everyone will say, the best thing about the sequel trilogy, like he was always his
Yeah.
role, his acting was considered. Like, everybody, even the people who hate the sequel trilogy, are all like, "Wow, he was pretty freaking good." And you have them in place with Adam Driver saying this is the best script he's ever been a part of. Everybody on Lucasfilm on board, and you're going to say, "No, I don't know how he's alive." Now, is there more to the story about Disney side thing? Were they just scared of anything sequel trilogy related at that point? Maybe. Were they scared of the somehow Palpatine return? Maybe. But it's absolutely the worst knee-jerk reaction you could have. You have talent, you have the studio on board. Let them make their artwork and see where the chips lay. Because especially because even in I don't know what the budget was supposed to be, but Adam Driver had said they were taking the budget down. It's supposed to be a lower budget film comparatively.
Yeah.
And like everything about that article made me so mad. So mad.
Well, it's so funny too because like I'm sitting here reading all this and going through everything, and one of the only things I could think was, guys, this was genuinely how you had a chance to like Clone Wars this situation. And
Yes,
it's even more frustrating because ultimately it seems like the episode 10 that Daisy Ridley is supposed to be the lead of, the new Jedi Order movie, just cannot get off the ground. So
absolutely.
why would you not just roll the dice on this one that clearly is working?
Right. This had everything ready to go. You are struggling. I mean, I know this is back in 2021, I think. So they hadn't hit that like lull yet because Rise of Skywalker is 2019, end of 2019. So it wasn't like now where it's like been 7 years since we've had a movie in the theaters. But even so, like this was how do you have something this ready to go and kill it? Like you're throwing money at all these other projects, all these other millions of different projects that aren't even like half the worth of something like this. And this is in your laps, ready to go.
Well, and Steven Soderbergh is wanting to do it. That's the
Yes,
craziest thing to me. Like, you have
he was excited
Steven
about it.
Soderbergh.
Yes.
Like,
I mean,
what?
Like, are they worried? Like, were they worried about it? Like being like maybe that was what worried them. They wanted someone they can control better. Like that seems to be Disney demo. Get these younger directors who aren't quite like the auteurs yet, so they can kind of control. I'm trying to give them something like a
No,
rationalization, but
I
nothing's
think
coming
that
out.
this
Like,
I hear you, but I think this is just mismanagement.
it
And it's a
absolutely
thing
is.
that we've been seeing a lot of, from
I
the company, and I've said it before to you privately, like, it's not just the movie side, but, like, the theme park side has been suffering for the same thing. Prices keep going up and the experience is going down for a lot of people. Like, they've mismanaged that. Let's talk about Disney Plus and the mismanagement over there. While between both Chapek and Iger, frankly speaking, they went
Mhm.
all in on streaming and missed the mark completely. Um,
How
I
many
don't know,
like
man.
has there ever been a quicker fall from like the top legacy wise that Bob Iger like after he came, like he went out when he retired, he was like top of the game. Everybody respected him, they appreciated him. Like, oh,
Even
he was good,
even if we didn't agree with what happened with Rise, like
100%.
Rise lives and dies on him. Let's
Uh-huh.
just call it what it is.
And Solo for that matter. To be honest with
Yes.
you, Solo's release date should also have been pushed, and he
Yeah,
admitted
100%.
those two things. And even with those, we're like, yep, but Bob Iger's still top notch head of the game. Would not want anybody else on there. He admits he's wrong, kind of thing. Everything else. He retires. They beg him to come back because Chapek is that much of a disaster, and he just becomes just as much of a disaster.
Yeah.
Like,
Honestly,
just
he's tanked like, he went full Eisner, and I actually might respect Eisner more. I
ooh,
mean, it's bad when there's active revolt from your subsidiary companies in the press.
right,
Now the Star
100%.
Wars story, like Feige on, really talking about that lately, and even the actors being like, yeah, Marvel was given a bad hand, like, because of the streaming service and all of that stuff, that they were forced into making stuff that they weren't ready to make or that they shouldn't have made. Um,
Absolutely.
Pixar, look at the stuff with Pixar. Like, it's such a fucking disaster, dude. And it sucks. It sucks really badly that you have people who, this is the problem with this version of making movies, especially for a bigger studio system that answers to people who just want their new yacht or house.
Hmm.
Quality
Hmm.
doesn't necessarily matter, and then the decision making is baffling. And Iger has done this shit in the past, but it just looks so bad now, especially because it's so out in the open.
I feel like he had a mystique about him for a while that made it easy to look past some of those mistakes. Like, oh, okay, well, yeah, but yeah, everybody makes mistakes, kind of thing. Now the wheels are off, and now like I feel like we went back and looked at some of the decisions, they're even worse in hindsight, and that's what I feel like now he completely lost his legacy.
Oh,
Um,
he 100% did. His legacy is no more.
Absolutely. I mean, he has time to right the ship a little bit, at least get it back onto the neutral zone potentially by doing some things. One thing would be to reverse this decision and hell scapegoat Bergman completely. Uh,
Yeah.
say, this is him, this is on him. I'll take responsibility. I was the top of the theme, but I listened to this guy, and I was wrong to listen to him. Whatever you say, turn around, get it done, and just hope that we're hoping, obviously, that Soderbergh and Driver are playing a game. I mean, they have come out and said that this wasn't an attempt to push Disney into anything, that they were just able to talk now because the project was dead, so there's no NDAs anymore. Hopefully, that's just them kind of playing the right PR game, and hopefully Bob will look at it and go, all right, you know what? Let's make this right. Let me call Steven, and hopefully they still are on board. Because hell,
Well,
honestly, if I was Steven and Driver, I might go, yeah, okay, now you're going to pay me more. Kind of thing,
yeah,
essentially,
well,
and they can get away with it.
100%. But also, if I'm them, I also just go, look, we just want to make this fucking movie. Like, let us
Absolutely.
just make the movie.
Yeah, 100%, man.
And look, is
Um,
there a chance that a part of it is because they were worried that it would run up against their new Jedi Order movie? Like, maybe. But guess which movie isn't seemingly moving forward? Well,
is
no, I
that
guess
one?
arguably now this one isn't either. But, like, I mean, the one that you've been talking about that just hasn't seemed to go anywhere in 6 years.
A lot of script choice changes, a lot of script issues, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, I mean, you're right. You're right. I mean, we have these rumors now. The ones that I actually pushed forward as a potential I thought was going to happen. I still have a feeling that this is going to be folded into the Kinberg trilogy, kind of thing that Kinberg's developing. I think that's what's going to happen with this thing, unfortunately.
Or the
Um,
Kimberg thing has died too. Look how
I don't
quiet
think
it's
that one
been.
has that. Well, I guess that's possible, but I think Kinberg's one is more about getting pieces in place, and we already have like Mando and Grogu
No,
there.
no,
We
no,
already have,
sure.
yeah.
I don't disagree. I just more mean like with how things have gone with this, I wouldn't be shocked.
No, you're not entirely wrong. I would just say that I know, given that Kinberg has worked within Lucasfilm before, I always gave him the benefit of the doubt he would be the best chance or the best choice to get something done, whether it's good or not. Your miles may vary, but to get something
I just
done.
can't believe that we're getting a Waterworld sequel in Star Wars. To me, that's the funniest thing is that they're clearly
That's
making
fine.
a sequel to Waterworld.
Absolutely. I think 2027 is going to be a great year for Star Wars. I really do.
I
And that's
hope so,
hopefully
man. I hope
I
so.
I'm hoping Disney sells them by then. But I mean, you got Starfighter, which I think is going to be fun. Mando and Grogu. The funny thing is, I think Mando and Grogu doesn't even have to hit to be huge. It just has to like do good enough. I think Starfighter will set the world forward. Going again, we're moving past Episode 9 now. The rumor now has it, and I believe it from all from the sources I've seen and from like the proof that's been shown. I think we're going to get the despecialized version of A New Hope in
Yeah, I've
theaters
been
for
seeing that
2027.
too.
And I think that's going to make a big swing of like love from the fans. I think that's going to like unite the fandom a little bit.
Kind
Which,
of
by
like
the
what Ben
way,
Solo News did.
Ben Solo did. I looked at my Twitter feed, and I'm used to seeing so much hatred for Star Wars and also zealous love for Star Wars on the other side, like which can be as bad, but I'll always
Yes.
lean towards positive than negative. But even so, but almost I'd say at least 90 to 95% of the things were like, what the hell, get that done, kind of thing. So yeah, but if they can get that done, if they can announce this, that's a big step in the right direction. So I don't know. It's
I don't
annoying
know,
though. It's
man.
definitely
It's
annoying.
all very strange, and it's been weird being fans of these things for so long, et cetera, and
I gotta
having all
go.
this shit happen, right?
I gotta go.
Um,
That's what I was saying.
yeah, but with
You know,
that,
it'd be
I
funny.
mean,
Really quick,
huh?
you know, it'd be funny because
Yeah,
Kathleen Kennedy is also supposedly stepping down from Lucasfilm. Again, we've heard those rumors before, but like this seems like it's more legitimately sometime
like
maybe
it's
next year.
supposed to
Like
happen. Yeah,
supposed to happen, and like that she's been working. Even in her interview, she said she was working on her successors and stuff like that. Wouldn't it be funny? Wouldn't it be funny? And piss a lot of people off. Wouldn't it be funny if she took over for Iger?
I've said that before. I always thought that would be amazing.
Yeah,
And just like such a thing, I always thought she would be such a natural choice.
I
Honestly,
agree. I agree. I think that like a lot of people hate her for the wrong reasons, and they don't realize that that's exactly where she should be. I don't think she's a creative person, but she knows enough to trust the artist and enough to, yeah, she's not going to be 100% perfect. No one is. Yes, I mean, like it is what it is, but get her in there, someone who's pro artist, pro movie making, and get them in charge of like the green light and the red, like that's what you need in there. But I digress. I
yeah,
digress.
I digress.
We just lost a bunch of viewers, just so you know.
Probably, but that's fine because it's interesting, right? Because
Right.
a lot of what we're talking about in like mismanagement and looking at an IP and not necessarily knowing what to do with it and how to handle it was kind of what happened to Ghostbusters. And specifically in Ghostbusters 2016, which
October
and
Festival.
or is known as Ghostbusters Answer the Call now more officially,
Yes.
because that's what it became over time. But man, I still like this movie, but there's something to be said about the fact that over time, as this was coming together, you knew that things were weird because we hadn't had a movie since '89, and every time they tried to make something, like Bill Murray wasn't wanting to be involved, or something would happen, and like his relationship with Harold Ramis fell apart, and we eventually got the video game, which was
Mhm.
kind of the bridge, which was super cool. It got the entire cast back together. They did a movie like a game that was basically a movie post the second one. Like that was all cool. They introduced a character who was supposed to be in the next movie, and all these things, and then the movie never happened.
Right.
And we end up with Ghostbusters Answer the Call, which is a fine movie. But the problem is that from everyone top to bottom, it doesn't seem like anyone knows what movie that they're making. And
Right.
that comes down to the decisions in like how the universe the movie is in, the way that the cast comes together. the marketing of the movie that really leans on the original movie and its own timeline and being like, "Hey, remember that time the Ghostbusters saved New York?" But then this is not doing that, even though also the movie says that the mayor of New York knows that ghosts existed and we've known they've existed and we all just forget about it. So the movie has its own like idea that this is clearly in canon, but then is not.
It doesn't know. It doesn't know what it wants to be. It hasn't sugared off the pot and figured it out. I will say there was a lot of that going on. I remember feeling disappointed that we were getting a reboot like this to begin with. I was like, all right, well, I get it, I understand it, but like I wanted to see more of the original cast and that universe. But this is what they came up with. And if you're gonna do this, then do it and just like totally revamp it. And of course, there was, of course, let's put it out there. There was the very sexist fight back, call back on a lot of sexism thing kind of thing. The women are taking over and everything else, and that's not the problem with this movie. I'll get that right out of the way. Right out of the way. Nothing
Yeah.
about it. Like I mean, I think we'll find out at the end of our discussion when we rate the movie. I like this movie less than you did, but there's nothing about the cast that is the problem. Movie has a lot of problems, but the main one, honestly, is like you said, it just kind of doesn't know what it wants to be, and like sometimes it wants to be the original, and what happens when films try to be like the original or call back the original? It just reminds us of the better film. Much
No,
better
man.
film.
It is. It's super frustrating because, you know, I like the cast. I like
Yeah.
Paul Feig. I like the idea of doing a movie that has a new cast like this. And everyone is super game. But like every decision in some capacity feels mismanaged. And
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a lack of discipline. And I
Mm-hmm.
say that in regard to, yes, it's like very infamously known that Bill Murray ad-libbed most of his scenes in
Yep.
Ghostbusters.
Yep.
Yes, we are all aware of that. Now, what happened in the time between Ghostbusters 2 and this movie was the rise of the Judd Apatow comedy and that style of free form comedic movies where you just let a camera sit on a group of people and they just riff. And I'm not saying that this was a new thing, obviously. Like this type of stuff always existed. But to have it be like a big budget comedy like The 40-Year-Old Virgin and Forgetting Sarah Marshall, like these very loosely scripted movies that allowed the actors to really just
Be
riff
funny.
for
Yeah.
minutes on end,
Mhm.
it became really popular. And so Feig came from that world.
Yep.
He knew Judd Apatow. They had worked together on Freaks and Geeks, and even Heavyweights, like back in the '90s. Like they'd been around each other for a long time, so he was not a stranger to this version of comedy. And so when he directed this and got involved, that became the forefront thing. And I
Right.
think that that lack of discipline, whether it was on set, having them not riff as much, having it in the edit, having it, you know what I'm saying? Like all these different little things, it creates this movie that is both really fun at times, but also aimless. It's both
Oh,
too
that's,
short and too long.
oh
It's
yes, absolutely.
every scene is either too short or not long, and or like you know what I mean, or too long.
Oh, because it
There,
has it's definitely long, like you said, but like it doesn't have like it still feels like a bullet point story. It's like an extended version of a movie without extending the actual story beats at all. Because everything is kind of just like the scenes are extended, not like the story, not like a connective tissue to the story. And I will say, like that kind of movie you're talking about, the one of the drawbacks to that style of movie is that if you like acting, you like characters, that's not what that film is about, because those films endeavor basically the actors who are happy funny actors who can do that kind of thing. And that's not an easy thing to do, to be able to riff like that and find material, but they tend to be themselves. Like it's Paul Rudd making a Paul Rudd movie, Seth Rogen being Seth Rogen, Jason Segel being Jason. Like these are people being themselves in all these different kind of movies. In a Ghostbusters film, you can't have Melissa McCarthy being Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Wiig being Kristen Wiig, and that kind of thing go on, because these are supposed to be characters, not really. I mean, and I guess it's a little dismissive considering Bill Murray was Bill Murray in Ghostbusters, right? I get that,
Right.
but like, there's a lot of that where it just feels like this is. Bill Murray was still kind of early on in his career as far as that goes. You can kind of still get away with it. At this point, Melissa McCarthy was pretty. Her brand was known, and the SNL style humor of the like vignettes was like kind of really pushed into this movie. It feels like that. It feels like vignettes instead of an actual film. But they all kind of tend to meander on. And I know it turned some people off. When I said the cast wasn't a problem, I know some people did have a problem with Melissa McCarthy being Melissa McCarthy, with Kristen Wiig being her usual eccentric self. I love both of those things, so that was never a problem for me. But it
I
doesn't
agree.
work in this setting, I don't think.
Well, and I think that you're onto something, and it was something. So I like this movie. Let me just be totally upfront. I do like this movie. Um, I like it. I think that the hate for this movie is really overblown and comes from the worst parts of the internet a lot of the time. I don't think it's a great movie by any stretch of the imagination either. I think that it definitely has the problems that we're talking about. But one of the things that I think you're nailing in this is I do think it features a lack of character.
Mhm.
And I think that that comes from a point of I don't feel like any of the characters are significantly different from each other. When
Mm,
you watch the original movie, every one of the characters pretty much has their own vibe and they are very much their own people.
right.
I don't feel like this movie does that this well. They all feel very interchangeable
Yes.
and they
Yes.
feel like they could all be one character. Like
Mm,
even the version of having like a Winston Zedmore type character, who in this movie, of course, is Leslie Jones. She is wonderful as Patricia Tolan, Patty. She's super fun, but like she doesn't feel any different than Melissa McCarthy in this. She doesn't feel different than Holtzman. And like Kate McKinnon is great in this, but they're all on Kate McKinnon's level, and I think that that's a problem.
right. Kate McKinnon's character needed to be the outlier to that.
Yes.
Uh, uh,
And I contend that a lot of this is because, and I brought this up to you the other day, after I had rewatched it, is it's become very clear to me in the 10 years basically since this movie has come out. This movie wants to be animated in live action. And what I mean by that is it's very clear that Feig and the people involved looked at the animated series. This is down to the ghost designs, this is down to the color gradient, this is down to the characters. They made this movie to be a lot more like a live action version of the animated series.
mm,
And in doing so, I think that the movie becomes a little lost in itself and doesn't really find footing in its characters. It's hoping you'll just buy into the world itself.
right.
The easiest sell in that would have just been if it had been set in the original timeline. But by
Yes.
forcing the hand of we're rebooting it and retreading this movie and doing the things that you all know, to your point from earlier, is that then it pulls you out. Because
Agreed.
now we're making callbacks to a movie we like more that did this already, and you could have avoided all of this by just setting it in the same timeline.
Absolutely. You could have a connection to the original Ghostbusters somehow. Like I wouldn't have put forward. I don't want to say, okay, it is the children of Venkman, Ray, like all of them together. No, but you have a connection somehow. Maybe one of them. Maybe like Kate McKinnon's character is whatever or something like that. Just one character connected, and then you could just like everything else could have been balanced off, and it makes this one look even better because like okay, now I'm comfortable here. I know what I'm doing here. And I wouldn't have minded the cartoonishness as much because I feel like it works at least with a tether somewhat. Without the tether, it's like you're trying to reboot and make this whole new thing, and yet you're bucking against it by going back to the original. It just feels off to me. I don't love the color scheme like you do, but then again, I'm not the animated fan as far as like the Ghostbusters world goes. I've never been into them. I will eventually. It's not like anything against them. I just never watched them. So seeing that without context of that made this even worse to me as well. So kind of like I felt it was too bright, too light, and the first one had this kind of like griminess to it, this earthy New York City dirty vibe to it. It's missing in this one. It feels too clean and too for someone that has New York City as a character. It just feels like it's got too. It's hard to explain, I guess, but I feel it's just not good enough for me.
No, and look, I do get that. Don't get me wrong. I think it's because I loved Extreme Ghostbusters so much growing up that I do appreciate like a swing of trying to do something like that in live
Right,
action. The problem is that again, I think by not having a better anchor, this movie was never going to work. And
right,
again, I think that this is a mismanagement thing from the top down because if you remember, this was a huge part of the Sony leaks
right.
and
Yep.
all the things that were going on in that era. In this movie, you could tell no one really knew what movie it was supposed to be. And even Dan Aykroyd has come out since and been like, Feig didn't quite listen to us, which is an easy scapegoat. It really
Uh,
is. It I don't blame all of it on him. I blame it on pretty much everyone. This was a movie that needed to basically be made and have the discipline to be like, look, we don't have to reboot this. And it's bad when even Sony's trying to sell it as a sequel when it's not.
right, right.
Because that original teaser trailer sells it as a sequel.
Hmm.
Yeah, now is there something to be said that if you do that and you have this full woman team that it takes away some of their own like um power and like guidance in they're handed the proton packs or they find the proton packs, like their agency is a little bit taken away, but at the same time why not just do that was franchised, they
Right.
set that
Well,
up in the original movie,
hmm.
like
Absolutely.
you can franchise this, you can do all this stuff with it, and it sucks because I do think that this movie is one of the larger reasons that people actually start talking about like there's no nice way to say this, but like wokeness in movies and things like that, this push forward to like make it feel like we have to have some sort of inclusion. And I don't think that it's a bad thing, but I think because so many people felt backhanded by this movie, it only
Mm.
made the like argument against this type of thing louder. When you look at something like Afterlife that also has a woman front and center, but they anchored it in, "Oh, but she's related to Harold Ramis's character," and you do this thing, and it feels like it's more built into the
Balance.
world than
Yeah, no, I
something that is
agreed.
being forced.
This one just
And I hate
feels
saying it like that because
pushed.
I know how that sounds.
Yeah, no, no, I know what you mean. I don't disagree with you on that. I feel like I get this is what I said. Like, and again, I'm kind of jumping the gun a little bit, but I'm gonna rate this later on. I'm gonna rate this lower than you for sure. I know that. I can already tell you that. But I think like when I talk about a movie I don't like, I think it's a bad film. I'm not one that pulls punches. I try to be positive in general, but when it gets down to like you get the movies like the Annabelles, the Halloween Resurrections. I call them what they are. Nightmare on Elm Street. I go, this is a bad film. It should feel
Yeah.
bad. I don't feel bad about saying it. Like honestly, generally speaking, beyond the always we know it's hard to make a movie and somebody did work really hard on it, but like in general, there's that line. I actually feel really bad about not liking this movie because there's a lot of people whose hearts are in the right place in this. There's a lot of effort in there, and they're doing their best on some things. But unfortunately, the guidance from top did not work. And
Yeah.
there's a lot that didn't work. And so, honestly speaking, I'm going to rate this probably pretty low, even though but I'm going to feel bad about it because I think Kate McKinnon was fun. I think Melissa McCarthy was fun. Kristen Wiig was great. Leslie Jones, great. I mean, there's a lot of fun to be had in this movie. Andy Garcia was even fun as the mayor. Um, but it
Again,
does
what a
not work.
weird
And
choice,
honestly,
though, to
yeah,
have him as this character. Sorry, not to step on your point because I
okay,
hear you and you're right and I understand it. But what a fucking weird choice to have the mayor character be aware of ghosts and
yeah,
say that this shit has happened in the past, but it's not in canon with the originals. What
right.
a weird fucking choice. And
He's
I'm
trying to
never
do
going to
both.
understand that. And again, that is this whole movie. This whole movie is like making choices like that where you go, if you just pivot half a you pivot over just a little bit and go, "Yes, this happened before. Yes, we covered it up." Which is basically what Afterlife does.
Right,
So
right.
it's not and I think that Afterlife, which we are gonna be covering, obviously, but, like, it's weird to have Afterlife do this so well,
Yeah.
and then you look back at this, and I think that Afterlife's existence only hurts this one more, and that's
Agreed.
really frustrating because I still think this movie is good. I just don't think it's the movie that it should have been, and
I
that's really, really hard, and this is one of those times where I'm going to talk like, we talk about the movie, and I take it on its merits and things like that, but this is also one of the few impossible scenarios where I cannot just go, "This is the movie as it is,"
mhm.
because it seems like every decision along the way pivots me to looking at the potential better movie. And so, yes, I can take it on its own accord, but at the same time, man, like, this movie should have been better.
I feel like this movie I feel like Feig decided to film 2 movies because you can the one good thing about the way they that style is you can kind of craft the film and edit it. And I feel like he basically said, "Let's film this 2 ways. Film it as a legacy sequel and film it as its own thing." And then chose to do it without being a legacy sequel. And then but then, like, decided to but unfortunately took things from both sides. So it ends up being this amalgamation, which makes it not work because you made that choice. You got to stick with that choice throughout the entirety of the film, and it didn't. It went back and forth in this whole idea. It teases the things, and oh, I gotta say, like the cameos, like oh, Bill Murray. I love Bill Murray.
Yeah.
You know he doesn't want to be there. You know he's gonna do something really weird and out there to try to like make it its own thing. Dan Aykroyd, I love Dan Aykroyd. You can tell he's almost got a broken heart while doing this, like because he's the one out of everybody who wanted to be front and center for Ghostbusters 3. Like he was trying to make that happen for years. He wanted to be head in charge. I mean, he would be fine like handing it off to somebody else, but he wanted to be like that big supporting character, if nothing else. And he comes in, he has his like line, and it's like he does his best. He's Dan Aykroyd. He still is funny about it, but like it's like okay. Annie
I
Potts
hate
is
those scenes, man.
exactly a callback. It's just we're just gonna basically do your thing. Just go on, say your line like you know you're gonna do. Say what do you want, and then get off. I mean, Ernie Hudson at the end was probably the best of them because it felt fun and like detached a little bit in a way. And it felt actually, you know what it was? It felt like it was a connective tissue. Even though he wasn't playing Winston, he still felt like he was Leslie Jones, our Patricia's uncle. If that was Winston, it would have been actually a fun thing,
Right,
something like that kind of thing.
everything is like that, man.
Um,
Everything is like that in this, and that's why I get so frustrated because even the idea of, like, the Bill Murray thing, wouldn't it have been better if it turned because Venkman is already doing, like, TV shows and stuff by the second one, right?
yeah.
And
Mhm.
people already look at him like he's kind of a clown. What if Venkman had decided to start being a dude who was debunking other people who were Ghostbusters?
Yeah,
Like,
that could be
what
fun.
if? Like, what if? And you have this moment where now, granted, you don't go a step farther and kill Venkman, but the idea being that, like, you could have played with that because
Mhm.
he's basically supposed to be the version of, Dickless.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And having
But
him be
he
that's actually an inside meta joke that works. Like that's
yes,
fun.
but you don't
Uh,
do it the right way. And
yeah.
so because of that, like, every decision seems half-hearted and, like, weird.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah.
man, and why is this also I mean, not that Afterlife did a lot better, why is this also the second time Sigourney Weaver or the first time rather of 2 where Sigourney Weaver is just regulated to cameo in the middle of the credits?
That's a great question. That's a great question. And this one
Um, it
is
seems
even
so
worse.
disrespectful.
It does. This one is even more disrespectful. Though it's not even like her character. It's just we're gonna get her in the movie, and she's her like. teacher. Like I didn't like. I was kind of like, what are we doing with her there? It is legitimately just to put her in the movie. And like when you do a cameo like that, usually you make it some kind of fun. Either it's a complete nothing cameo, it's just there like just to say hi, or it's something that's related to their character and they make it work. This is like you're going to create this total new character that has like I I I, I don't understand it. I don't understand it at all.
No,
It does
I
not
don't.
work.
It's very strange. Now, we're being very hard on the movie, and I admit that because it's super frustrating.
Let me go one
It's
more before we turn positive. Because there's some positives I do want to say, but one more negative I have to get off my chest.
okay.
This villain is awful.
Yeah, I was gonna say that the biggest other problem with the movie, frankly speaking,
Awful.
the villain just it does not matter.
Why do we need a human villain at
I don't
all?
understand.
Like
It's
I
such a
know we
waste
had a
of life.
human villain esque with Ghostbusters 2 with the Vigo's little scientist or museum curator guy, but like in this one, it's just a giant man baby who got bullied, and now he's going to become the ghost, the big ghost, and he's going to lead the ghost army. And it just is like it just does not fit this
I
universe at
love
all.
his first scene when he meets Patty. Like, I think that scene's hysterical, where he's talking about how,
Yes,
people will be enslaved, but people like Patty will be, like, the last served up, so enjoy your extra time on Earth. Like, I love all of that. I think it's
right.
so funny. I love the idea of him being, like, this weird little dude who lives in a hotel, right? All of that is great. It's just I don't care about the character because he does nothing more than that, and
Right.
he's such a loser.
If he was like that's the thing. He's a loser, and you're making him the bad villain. You're a loser is the big bad. No, if he was like the flunky, if he was like the vehicle that the ghosts were using to kind of thing, like again, like Ghostbusters 2 in a way. If there was a big baddie and this guy was like trying so hard to get revenge that he was whatever, but no, he's in charge of it all. He's the one that's doing it all. And it's like, and I gotta say, I hate saying it, and this is what I do hate saying is like whoever the actor is, I don't know who the actor is. I don't know who he is. He just did not sell me on it. Maybe if it was a different actor, I could have bought into it a little bit more. But there was nothing about him that worked for me. Nothing at all. It was just god awful. And
It's
once the
so
villain is there like that, it's like, well, what do we
Well,
care?
it's funny because then I actually think that the character works even better when Hemsworth starts playing him. Now, and here's the
Yes.
thing that's hysterical to me
Yes.
because like Hemsworth is so good when he's doing it. And here Hemsworth is both the best thing about this movie and the worst thing about this movie. Because Kevin as a character is like really good because Hemsworth is so good. But the character is such a glaring issue because it's a character that like it, he just heightens everything wrong within the movie too. Every joke runs too long. Every scene is a little too long because of it. But I don't care because Hemsworth is so fun in this.
This is the
And
first
it's so
time.
weird.
This is the first time. Correct me if I'm wrong. That we really had a comic book, a comic
Vacation,
performance
I
of
think,
him.
before this.
Oh, was it Vacation before this?
Yeah,
I
because
can't
I think
remember.
Vacation's 2015, if I'm
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, that makes
and
sense.
but now
It's still
again,
early on.
smaller, yeah, smaller role. He steals that movie too. Hemsworth is so good at comedy, and he's such a perfect version of this character. And I do love that this is the like in the original, Janine is like clearly the only person in the room who's an adult, right?
Right. Right.
In this one, you can't trust Kevin for shit. Like the dude is a child. And so I kind of
Right.
love the idea of him being that the jokes about him being like a sexual harassment lawsuit waiting to happen run too long. Like all of that is it's funny, but like it also runs too long. But
Right.
Hemsworth is trying so hard and it works. I
I
just
yeah. Go
wish
ahead. I'm
that
sorry.
his character had more to do also because I think that it just the jokes become he's big and dumb. He's big and
Yeah.
dumb. He's handsome, big and dumb.
He is the best thing about the movie. I'll be honest with you. He consistently makes me laugh throughout the movie. Honestly,
Yes.
he is my favorite part.
When
And the
the
reason I'm
phone is
saying
ringing and he keeps trying to put his hand into the tank. And then he goes, "A tank is just a submarine for a fish." And you're like, "What is
That's
happening?"
actually genius. My favorite one, I think my favorite one I actually noticed was more of a subtle one. He's showing the headshots. He's like, me playing the saxophone or me listening to the saxophone? The other pictures seem like with the saxophone, he's actually listening to the saxophone.
Yeah. Oh my god.
So funny. He's got such great timing. In fact, like that's why I was asking if this is his first one because like we're not Bruce Thor. This is like a real full-on comp performance. He really has chops. He has comic chops that are equal as much as the women who are in leads here as well. I get what you're saying about everything else because at that point, like with the role that he shouldn't be the funniest thing because he's not enough to do that. But his time as the villain at the end, wow, I love that bit. I love that bit a lot. That's when it felt real again. He felt more threatening. He felt more
Yeah.
intimidating. It works.
I actually like all the stuff once. I actually this is something the movie does really well. And I actually think it doesn't get enough credit for is I do like all the possession stuff. I think that that's
Yeah,
actually like a very natural step forward for the franchise because
yeah,
we see a little bit of that in the second one.
right,
Um, and I really like it in this movie. I like it a little less with the like throwing up right up front with Melissa McCarthy, where they're very clearly trying to remake the scene from Bridesmaids.
right, right.
Um,
Yep.
but once the possession stuff starts and then it takes over Kevin, like that stuff is really, really good. And I really appreciate all of that. I still wish that I felt like the character had more to do. I do love when he starts picking people up and he's tossing them. He's like, "Man, I really should have been working out in my previous body," and like all of that is really funny because, of course, that dude didn't consider that actually working out really does do better for you.
Right.
So little things like that are really good. And I'll say this, I actually think the third act of this movie is great. Um, from the moment that we basically get to Times Square to the end, the movie is really, really good, and that's when the movie starts to finally work. But that's also because it's very different than anything we've seen in the franchise before because it becomes very action forward. And
Yeah.
I appreciate that, but your mileage may vary because again, it's basically a live action cartoon.
I will say I think it is the best part of the film. I will agree with that. I still hesitate to saying it's great, but I definitely think it is the best part of the film. I do like the idea that I did love the idea that the guns, the new stuff that Kate McKinnon's character Holtzman were creating. I love that we were broadening our repertoire, our armory, as it were. Like I love it when she had her little small guns out and she's like licking the guns and some of that. And she's having the
Yeah,
action moments, the bombs that only are hurting the things. Like, is that a stupid thing? A bomb that only hurts the ghost, not the humans? Yes, that's stupid, and it doesn't. But it's okay in this world if it's done right, and it is. That sounds like that feels like natural progression, and that does feel like a little cartoony to me. But I was okay with that. The fact that we were doing this, let's get this out. Let's try some new fun things. Every Ghostbusters film should have some new invention, new fun, crazy inventions to defeat the ghost or to face the ghost or whatever. I love that aspect of things.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, I get. But like I will say the third act does work generally for me because of that. It becomes an action movie, and the action movie doesn't. The pacing is much better at that point because it's just
Yeah.
kind of all
Well,
faster and
and
more tense.
it's
Let's move it to
super
the
fun, man. Like because I like the design of all the ghosts. I think they look super cool. I love the color palette. I love that we're getting this big sequence in the middle of Times Square. That also being said, I genuinely also feel like un- I don't know what it is. I do know what it is. Maybe because I know it was shot in Boston. Maybe it's looking at it, but I never feel like it's really New York, and I never feel like we're really in the real Times Square, and I never feel like it's a character in the same way. So while I'm enjoying the action beat, I love all the ghosts. I love how everything looks. I love the traps. I love the different versions of the guns, like you pointed out. I love all of that, or the
yeah.
proton packs, rather, not guns. I mean, they're gun versions of the proton pack, but I digress.
Right, right, yeah.
Um, I think that this movie loses something, and something Ghostbusters 2 fell into also, frankly speaking. New York doesn't feel like a character anymore. More so in
No,
Ghostbusters 2, but New York no longer feels like a character, and it makes the last shot of the movie where it's very clearly not New York skyline being like,
Right.
"Thank you, Ghostbusters." I hate it bums me out because also this whole fucking storyline where the mayor keeps being like, "Thanks for helping us, but we're also gonna discredit you in the media," is so lame.
Mhm.
I hate all that.
Agreed.
I hate
It's
all of that.
awful. It is awful, I gotta say, I can't, like, it just I agree that New York I think Ghostbusters 2 feels more like a character still. And New York feels more like a character in Ghostbusters 2 to me still than it does in this one. This one does not feel like a character at all. It feels like the only way at times it feels even somewhat like it is maybe in the subways, maybe. Um, but
And
generally
I do
speaking,
love
really.
that scene when Patty goes down for the first time and sees
Yeah,
that ghost. Again,
that
what
is
a cool
great.
design. Love that
That is great.
design, by the way.
I love that Patty gets to be more than the loud, angry black woman that she had to be on Saturday Night Live for much every skit she was in. She still does some of that, to be honest with you here, but like it gives her a moment to be beyond that, which is I'm happy to see that, and it's great.
Yes.
Um,
Agreed.
but like New York is a problem for Ghostbusters franchise. Like it was such a big part of the first one. Second one, again, it slipped a little bit. This one, awful. You and I disagree a little bit. We'll talk about it next time for Ghostbusters Afterlife. I still think it's missing New York, even though at least in Afterlife, I'll say that they consciously took it away from New York. So at least that's a decision that was made, and so I can blame it on the decision being made instead of like setting it in New York and still not being
Right.
able to capture the essence. And then Frozen Empire was a happy return for me to New York. Well, I got to watch that one again. I've only watched it the one time, so I really have to look into that the next time I see that one. But yeah, it does not work well. It just does not feel like it's the right place and time. I guess you could also chalk it up to being the cartoonish side of things. So is it more cartoonish side of New York? Maybe that's what it is partially, but it doesn't really work very well.
No, and I think that that's why, like, as much as I love the 3rd act and that portion, I do miss it feeling like Times Square.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love the idea of them seeing, like, a ghost Thanksgiving Day parade. Think that's
that was
so great.
awesome.
That's so
That was
cool.
awesome. But then
Um,
again, where's the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man come from?
yeah,
Like,
and
are
that's
you in the
or
universe? Or are you
Slimer.
not in the universe? Or Slimer was one of the worst ones for me. So I'm like, you're gonna put Slimer in? Like, I liked seeing him. And I was happy. In fact, like the Slimer usage was probably better in this than Afterlife, I think, honestly, because he wasn't really in Afterlife, really, if I remember correctly. It was like the other one, the bigger one, correct? It was like the Slimer's older brother or whatever it was, or I forget what his
Yeah.
name was. But so I liked seeing him. I thought that was a good decision, but like in a way, but like I got not a good decision. I shouldn't say good decision. It was a good execution. The decision makes it a little wonky. Though, because again, it reminds you of the first film.
Well, and so then the question becomes, is that our Slimer?
Right.
Is Slimer just someone who goes between, you know, dimensions?
Are we
Is this
multiversing
a
this much
thing?
now that we're
Right.
doing?
Well, because they've introduced like, that's kind of the idea, right? Because the comics have both the
Yeah.
movie says it, and then the
Yeah.
comics also introduce it, that
Yeah.
and stuff. So, like, this idea that there is multiple universes of Ghostbusters, it it's kinda there. It
Yeah.
exists,
Yeah.
but we're not doing anything with it, but it could be that this version of Slimer is our Slimer.
Yeah. I'd be okay with the multiverse connecting this. That actually, I think, to make this movie a little bit better, a little bit
Well,
better at
they've
this
done
point.
it, but again,
Yeah.
it's only been in the comics in,
Right.
like, since. And that was only because they realized that they really need to make sure that the Answer the Call characters deserve, like, actually get to do something. And the comics actually go a long way in starting to make them characters,
Yeah,
which is
that
like,
I've never read the book, so I don't know.
they're worth it. I have them. I mean, you're not here, but I do have them. They exist.
Sure.
They're very good, and they deserved this. And it's like the comics did a great job actually making me like those characters even more. Um, and again, I don't think this cast is bad. I actually think Leslie Jones is super fun in this movie. Kate McKinnon is super fun in this movie. McCarthy's the only one who gets a little on my nerves because I feel like she, of all people, seems to be riffing the most and just does not know when to rein herself in. Again, a lack
Yeah.
of discipline in that is just allowing people to do what they're going to do.
Right.
I like her, but also, how many times are we going to do the fucking joke about the wonton soup?
Yeah. Yeah, that was a little much. The one time was enough, to be honest.
Right. And it lasts
Uh,
how long?
yeah, it just kept going and going. It was doing that. They were really trying. It feels like they were really trying to do the. They were trying to do like the whole like let's make the joke last so long it becomes uncomfortable and then becomes funny again.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it just didn't become funny again.
No, it never comes back around really in any way. Um, did you catch the Sam Richardson cameo, by the way?
I did. I
I thought
did.
that was really funny. I was like, "Oh, it's Sam Richardson." Like, he started
Like,
talking and I was looking at it, I was like, "Oh, shit, it's Sam Richardson."
it's really Sam Richardson. Yeah, I was like, I. It's funny because like sometimes when you see an actor like that, you're like, you don't like, who I see you see him out of context from what you know him in. You're kind of like, wait, who is he? What was he? Oh, that's who it is. It's Sam Richardson. Yeah, I was like, oh, I rewound it, watched it again, or not that part, or watched it again. Like, oh, okay, Sam Richardson. Yeah, he was funny as heck in that. I like that moment. That was my favorite, one of my favorite moments in the whole thing, to be honest with you.
Um, and of course, one of my favorite moments, and I brought this up weeks ago because I knew it was coming,
R.I.P.
but yeah, R.I.P. Ozzy Osbourne. His cameo is so wonderful. That whole thing about the ghost attack. Again, I love the look of the ghost demon. Love
Yeah,
that thing. Think it's super cool. But another fucking joke that lasts too long is Patty wandering through the audience with it on her shoulders. That
yeah.
joke lasts like a minute and a half.
Yeah, it's too much. It's just way too much. Like it's just like you got to get in and out. Comic timing is something that they should be good at. Like Paul Feig did a wonderful job in Bridesmaids with that,
Yeah.
as did Melissa McCarthy and everything else. And yet it's just not explained. It almost feels like because he was so beloved, and I could be mistaken if I am Paul. I apologize now, but I'll say it feels like Paul believed his own hype at that point because Bridesmaid was so beloved. And
Again,
it's
lack of
like
discipline.
yeah, that's what it kind of went. And I can do this again. I'll just do. I'm a genius now. I can do this kind of thing. And then this is kind of what we get. It's like it's not there.
Oh.
And it's not it's not for lack of talent. The performers are all wonderful before actors, wonderful performers, wonderful comedians, and but it just doesn't work.
This movie also they spent so much money on it.
Mm-hmm.
They spent almost $150 million on this movie. That's way too much for this movie. Like, I wanna say that Afterlife didn't even cost. I think it only cost, like, 100 million, maybe? Not even? And Frozen Empire similarly? Like, you should not be spending that kind of money on a movie like this because especially one that is not overall connected to everything going on, like, don't do that. Yeah, Afterlife cost 75 million.
Yeah, yeah. I was looking that up. 75 million for that versus well, we just went 150 million for this, and that's like almost 5 years later. So like money is inflation and stuff. It's even worst case scenario. 75 million tops. That's a solid price for a
Well,
Ghostbusters movie.
and again, I do understand that a big part of that is because this movie comparatively, like, because they go all out on it trying to be like this bigger comic booky animated movie sort of thing. Oh my god, someone is in a mood over there. My
Yeah, so
dog has feelings.
my daughter got home, so
Yeah.
she opened the door so she could put her to
Got
sleep.
it. I see. Um, I think that because they were going for this, like, grandiose version of Ghostbusters, which, again, I would argue is inherently part of the issue, for
Right.
some people. The ghosts are a lot more front and center, the action's a lot more front and center, like,
Yep.
the being big, being bold, being bright. Something to be said about Ghostbusters kind of also being scaled back. Something about it being like there isn't a ghost in every scene, allowing there to be more other things going on that build to it, right?
Absolutely.
Arguably trying to make a horror film that's also a comedy.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and that's something that it's not as easy as it sounds, but like there when you get it, it works great. This one just didn't quite get there. Kind of like I mean, it never got very scary at all. There's not anything
No.
really scary about it, and that's part of the problem because the Ghostbusters at least had those moments that were like genuinely horrifying moments in a way. I mean, not compared to like obviously like some of the other movies out there, but in a horror comedy, it gets to that at least level. This is all felt again. That's part of the cartoonishness I mentioned before as well. It doesn't work as the cartoonishness makes it even sillier than it should be in a way. It's a tough nut to crack, and they just didn't do it. They just didn't do it.
Yeah, it's just weird, man. Like, again, I argue, I think that a big part of it is just everyone involved trying to do different things to the point that Sony wants to sell it as a sequel, but it's not a sequel, but they green you know what I mean? Like,
Right,
so then they try to pull the wool over the eyes of the audience. Then the movie itself is like, "No, we're doing our own thing, but it's also the thing you've already seen, and we're gonna leave all the breadcrumbs to do basically the original movie now with Zool." And you're
right,
like,
right,
"Why is that your idea? Like,
right.
why this? Why this way?"
Yeah. There's nothing about it that I can confidently say why they chose to do something. It's just like they feel like they Bridesmaids made women in comedy great. Like it was a big hot thing, hot button moment, and so they wanted to make this with the women that Paul Feig did that with. They had Melissa McCarthy in it, Chris Wiggin in it, and it just you can't make that chemistry or that camaraderie. You can't make that work in every kind of film, and it does not. It just does not work in this film. It could have if you shape the story better. If you edit it better together, and you built the lore better instead of just kind of like slapping your name. Like there's times where like some things annoyed me, like that I don't even know maybe shouldn't annoy me, but like when at one point they're using the proton packs as like blasters, like he to like knock them out instead of capturing them. The proton packs are always generally about capturing them or something like that, or holding them. That's what it was, hold them in place. And all of a sudden now they're like shooting them and they're being thrown back and knocked out kind of thing. It's like that's what are we doing with this? Because it needed to happen. I create something else for that. When you had the blaster size there, the sidearms and whatever, that felt better about that because I felt like that was okay. That was a different thing doing it. Okay, it, I don't know, and that's just maybe that's too nitpicky, but like it just that's the kind of thing that they don't build on at all. It makes it worse to me.
Yeah, man, I don't know. It's just I hate being hard on this movie because the stuff that I really like, I do like, which is mostly the cast having fun.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
arguably the cast having fun is also part of the biggest problem with the movie because it just doesn't translate fully. Like,
Right,
why at the beginning of the movie do they go we basically do the whole there's an evil ghost in a house thing and people are going to go see it, you know. So they show up at this place. And when they upload the video, the only thing everyone is talking about is Aaron's reaction to the ghost, not the ghost sighting itself.
right, right. Yep.
What?
So
And again,
weird.
it becomes one of those, oh, in the movie, ghosts have existed and that everyone is aware, but they keep trying to like make it not a thing. Again, why is this just not in canon with the
Right,
original?
right. Absolutely. I will say, like you mentioned it, and I agree. Like it, and you have fun riffing, and that can when the cast is having fun with each other, that can be contagious and that can work. We are we are fans of that. We've talked about that before. A lot of Kevin Smith movies are that way. The Oceans franchises are that way. But the difference is, like, especially the Oceans franchise, the Oceans movies have specific story beats they are working towards. They have a story here, 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 here. We're gonna have fun to get to these places. This film has like the fun, 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 and the storyline beats are also kind of just like these like nebulous kind of things. So that's what makes it not as fun because you don't have start and end point. You don't know where your starting point or ending point is, and that's what you need to have those in this kind of in that kind of film. If you're going to have that kind of riffing thing where you're going to catch the characters having camaraderie, you got to have those starting points and ending points.
Hmm. Hmm.
I did love. I will throw out to positive wise. I did actually enjoy the opening. I like the idea of having this like this like jokey haunted museum kind of
Yeah,
thing
I loved all
that leads
that.
into the raw. It leads into the real thing. I'm like, that's a great opening. Kind of like how the opening of the first film takes place with the library and stuff like that. There's some good moments there, but that I was led into. But that's good. We're gonna get something here. I love that. And it just kind of all went downhill, including, by the way, oh god, that awful like remake of the song they
The
kept
one
like
by Mike
putting out
Hem.
there. Yeah. Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad.
I
I kept
don't
looking.
mind it, but I
Oh,
don't think it's necessarily very good either.
Well, because they use like the original at times,
Or
and
not,
then
is
they
it Fallout Boy? It might be Fallout Boy, not Mike
I
Henry.
don't know who it is, to be honest. I don't know who. I know is like they actually showed the original at one point, and then
Yeah,
they use the orchestral or like instrumental version of the original,
yeah,
and then
Fallout
also
Boy, Missy Elliott.
and then they throw the Fallout Boy version, and I'm kind of like, oh, this is just this is bad. Just have that one be there the entire time at least. Don't like use the old one, which makes it feel like we're canon in the universe again. And then, oh god, it's just not good. Not good.
No, this is one of those weird ones, man. Like, again, the stuff that's really good is really good, but I would argue also that the stuff that's bad is so bad that it hurts the movie. And
Yes.
again, I don't say this because I feel good about it. In fact, I don't. And I get it's frustrating feeling like the stuff that works well enough, but everything around it pulls it down, you know?
Mm.
Like, it just never fully comes together in a way that feels, like, compelling, in it never gets out of its own way because it never fully knows what it wants to be, and the fact that they even changed the title by the time the movie came out from just Ghostbusters to Ghostbusters Answer the Call, just to try to, like, basically do damage control,
I don't even know what the damage control was. Is it like to not
because they're trying to separate it from the original. Because they're still
okay?
trying to be like, it's its own thing, and we only called it Ghostbusters, and that was the mistake, so they try to, move it in this other direction, but it's like, that it's already done. Like, why didn't you just call it that up front?
Yeah, no, and what I mean, I don't even really necessarily get the title there. Like, answer the call. Like, are you talking Chris Hemsworth or? Like, I mean, I know it's supposed to be answer the call to become a Ghostbuster or whatever, but like, there wasn't a call to be a Ghostbuster because the Ghostbusters didn't exist in this world. So you're actually just not making it like it would work. It was a franchise again. Hey, answer the call, like answer the call to be
Yeah.
a Ghostbuster, a proud Ghostbuster. What call? What call are we answering here? It's like it's just another miss. And by the way, Baba Booey joke in
Yeah.
2016.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah, and, of course, to the shock of no one, this movie did not perform well.
no,
Um, I mean, this movie was dead on arrival, and I hate saying it because, again, I do think that the hate for the movie is mostly overblown, and it comes from the worst places of the internet a lot of the time. And this movie in particular very much did, get slammed with that.
right,
That first trailer up front is still, I think, in the, like, arguably top 5 most disliked videos on YouTube of all time. Um, the reception was so irate at it because of what it was, and I never felt like it deserved that, because I
right,
don't think it's a bad movie. I just don't think it's a movie that lives up fully to its own potential, and that's because it just couldn't get out of its own way.
right,
And that,
absolutely,
I think, is actually more disheartening than anything else,
right,
because it did set up the stage, and Jason Reitman has talked about this. He has thanked Paul Feig since and said, "Thank you for allowing us to believe that anyone can be a Ghostbuster. You kicked the door down to allow us to do this and have more women in the movies, even have young kids in the movies comparatively, right?"
right.
So the movie did the right thing in helping knock those doors down, because Afterlife really soars because of its cast.
I agree.
It soars for a lot of reasons, but a big part of it is the cast, and there's a real chance that that wouldn't have happened if this movie didn't exist. There's a
Yeah,
real chance.
yeah. Well, I think I think it also had to do with. Unfortunately, I think the negativity around this film also was one of the reasons they could bring the real timeline back. It's kind of like Sony has the IP. They want to do something with the IP. This was kind of a disaster. Let's be honest. It was a disaster all the way around in terms
Oh,
of like
all around, it was a
this and everything
PR
else.
nightmare.
So what else are you going to do at that point? Well, the only thing we can do is a little fan service and bring back the original canon, the original characters, get them involved again, and that could be what is a positive. So in a way, maybe it needed to stink in order to like get this because like this was successful. If this was a big success, would we have gotten? Especially because like it's not in canon. Like it's not in canon. We would have gotten
Yeah.
more of this universe and gotten less of. It wouldn't have gotten Afterlife probably. It wouldn't have been it would have been relegated to Dan Aykroyd cameos in these ones. And
Yeah.
that honestly would have been so in a way, I never hope for a movie to fail. I'm kind of not upset that this one paved the way at least to getting Afterlife back on track.
No, 100%. And I mean, I still contend. I think the biggest thing that also made Afterlife finally come together was the unfortunate passing of Harold Ramis.
Yeah, 100%.
I think that I mean, he'd already passed away before this one happened,
Right.
but I think that once Jason was more involved, and then this idea that we're going to try to do something that honors those original movies. And I think that's the difference. And obviously now I'm talking about Afterlife again instead of this movie, but I think the difference is that that movie spends so much time honoring the originals while
Mm-hmm.
doing its own thing and like building off of the original movie and like finding ways forward while looking backward. This movie
Right.
doesn't do that. This movie is trying to be the original while winking at the original, while trying to move away from the original, while saying it's not the original, while being the original.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't work in that regard, which is so frustrating because the cast didn't deserve this. The,
I agree.
and that comes down solely to the people involved behind the scenes who just couldn't get out of their own way. I don't
Right.
understand why Feig felt he needed to have a movie that was its own thing. It really should have been the hard line should have been up front. This is an in canon movie. That
Right.
should have been the hard line up front.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Absolutely. I can't argue with that at all. At all. There's nothing else I could say about that. But
Yeah. I
um
don't know, man. Like, I don't have a lot more to say. I think most of the cameos pull me out of the movie. I
it's
it
sad because I
only
want to see them more.
yeah, but again, I think that had they been actual characters and not just a like not just there just to be there, I'd feel differently. I mean, dude,
Yeah.
even the Firehouse cameos.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They do all this stuff to try to not be the original and then just want to be the original.
And they tease that firehouse at the beginning too, and like and they give it to them at the end. It's like even more. It's like I don't know what you're doing here. What are you doing here? I don't get it.
No,
Um,
exactly. And again, good cast, but they also needed just to know when to rein themselves in. They needed to,
yeah, yeah,
I feel so bad.
absolutely.
I mean, here we are almost a decade later, and I feel like kicking a I'm kicking something that doesn't deserve it, but also, like, I think it's
Kind of does.
also well, it's better to be honest about it and
Yeah,
not pretend that, like, I'm here just
right,
gonna like, I don't wanna just outwardly praise it because it does have issues. It doesn't always work. It doesn't always land. The stuff that works is really good, and that's mostly the cast, but they're also their own worst enemies in a movie that doesn't edit them down or ugh. It's so hard, man, because I like it more than I sound like I like it, but that's because in this, we're actually having a conversation and I start getting all riled up about the things that bother me.
right. It's because like well, the things that do work are good. There's not much to talk about with them. It's like kind of like Chris Hemsworth, good. Some
Yeah,
bad things about it still, but I love Chris Hemsworth in it still.
right.
For the actor's good, but all this other stuff surrounding it is bad. So like it sounds like we're being like I probably even like it more than I'm saying too, to be honest with you, and that's why I feel bad about rating it so low because I get some genuine enjoyment out of it. I mean, I watched it with Kim, and Kim hadn't seen it before, and she enjoyed it. She said, "Oh, it's pretty funny." She loved Kate McKinnon in it. She loved Melissa McCarthy in it. She said that those people were hilarious at times. I'm like, I get that because they were funny at times and they were enjoying them and everything else. I just wish I didn't keep getting reminded of a better film, and I wish that it just that the script around it was so much because they deserved so much better. That's the thing; these performances deserve so much better, and maybe it's on Feig for like deciding to do the Apatow style and the Riffarama kind of thing. It's not like the girls can't do that because I know they can, but it just doesn't work when you don't have something to anchor it, and this doesn't have anything to anchor it except for it's is it or is it not part of the canon, or why isn't it part of the canon? And it Becomes a distraction. That's the whole thing. Is just a distraction.
Man, I don't know. It's just like it's just frustrating because
Yeah.
overall, I feel like people are gonna think we're dogging on this movie when we aren't, and we're
Um,
we've been very upfront about the stuff that works and the stuff we like. I just wish that it had been in a better movie. And I think
yeah.
I'm always gonna think that it was. I always am gonna wish that. I think that Sony was wrong for not forcing their hand. I'll say that I think that Aykroyd and them probably should have been louder and not blamed Feige after the fact for everything because I don't necessarily blame all of him either. Like they all signed off on the project.
Yeah.
That's how these movies work. The all the people involved have to sign off together. Like it
Right.
doesn't just happen. So
Yeah.
I think that there should have been a lot more upfront conversations about, hey, this thing has to happen in order for this movie to work. So I don't blame all of Feig. I think Feig actually directed the movie beautifully. I think the action sequences are great. I think a lot of the bits with the characters that work are really funny, and that's down to him knowing when to have the camera where and how to capture that on screen.
Yep.
The ghost designs are incredible. But I really just don't have more to say other than sometimes it's frustrating seeing the good and the bad all at once and knowing that people are going to latch onto this on either side to say that we're not right for whatever thing we have said, even though I think at the end of the day, we've come to the kind of place where it's like, actually, man, like we're very honest. We see the
We
good and the
are.
bad. And that's the fact.
We are positive people by nature. That is who we are. We try to have a positive outlook, and you're going to find that even bad movies will come, and we'll go to bat for some bad movies because they're still fun or entertaining or engaging. And we'll try to go to bat for some things that are in bad movies that are fun and entertaining. Hell, there's even some things like in movies I hate that I still could find that things to
Yeah,
like about it. This one,
100%.
I feel bad about it, but like I already claimed, I already talked about some things I actually really loved. I really love parts of this movie. There's ingredient. I shouldn't say parts of the movie because it's not even the part; it's the ingredients. I love the ingredients of this movie. I just it doesn't come together right at all, and it's just a disaster, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
I have a few quick notes. If you don't have anything else,
No, I'm good.
okay. The last thing I did, last couple of quick notes I wanted to throw out there. I did get. Speaking of Doctor Who, I love the Autons. We got the definitely
Yeah,
got.
I did mean to bring that up. I always liked that. I thought that was fun. Like, that felt like a very cheeky Doctor Who reference.
Absolutely. I almost was waiting to see Chris Eccleston just show up randomly somewhere in the background for that one. I did like that. I did like the meta humor joke of the Red Sox fan, the comedian that was the Red
Yeah,
Sox fan goes, and she goes, "What am I doing in New York? You're not in New York, you're in Boston."
yeah,
So that was fun and funny and kind of like that. I like that. That kind of reminded me, honestly, that right there reminded me of the first film. I had those kind of ghost like moments of the first
right.
film, like they had those funny bits and stuff like that. I did like that, and that's about it. I mean,
Yeah, man. I
yeah,
really have nothing else to say. It's just, we've pretty much talked in circles around our
yeah.
feelings at this point on it. I just that's it, man.
It's a dreaded time now. I got to rate this son of a bitch.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
to get
yeah.
it out there. We always scale things on a scale of 1 to 11 here on PLD Projects. Always turn things up to 11. The original Ghostbusters, we both gave a perfect 11. Oh, by the way, we haven't mentioned this at all. This is part of our Ghostbusters slash Men in Black crossover series. So we combine the franchises together to
And
get
we're gonna be
this
talking
season.
about Hemsworth again next week
That's right. Back to back Hemsworth.
because
Hemsworth is
he's
the lead.
in Men in Black International.
The lead of International alongside the great Tessa Thompson. But the original Ghostbusters, we both gave a perfect 11. Ghostbusters 2, I gave an 8.5. You gave a 6.5. Men in Black, I gave a 9. You gave a perfect 11. Men in Black 2, I gave a 6.5. You gave an 8. Men in Black 3, I gave a 10, and you gave a 10.5. Where are you falling on Ghostbusters 2016?
Um, this is a tough one because I
That's
think the
tough.
sum of its parts are better than not, but I just can't like again over the last 10 years, the stuff I like I really like. The stuff that I don't like has only gotten more aggressive over the last 10 years in the situations of everything. I think it's a really good movie. I don't think it's a really great movie, but I don't think it's a very bad movie either. I think it's just a movie that's at war with itself, I'm gonna give it a 7.
Okay, it's a solid number there. It's better.
I think it just rides that line of being somewhere between very good and fine.
So you like it better than Ghostbusters 2,
Yeah,
or
I
no?
would
Okay,
still probably rather watch it than Ghostbusters 2, personally, for all of its faults.
I gave this a 5.
Alright, fair enough. I'm not gonna yell at you for it.
No, I know
Someone in the chat
it's
might, but I'm not going to.
it's actually this is the first season we've had. Usually we're like so on point. We've had a couple of times where not off by a ton. It's not like I'm giving something a 4, you're giving it an 8 or 9. But we're definitely off. Like again, Ghostbusters 2, I had much higher on than you were. Men in Black, you were higher on. Men in Black 2, you were a little higher on. But this is one I wanted to give it more, and I feel bad. Like I feel like the performances, like I would give the cast like a 7 or an 8, but just everything else drags it so far down for me. I can't, in good faith, give anything else. I could maybe bump up to 5.5, but I'm going to keep it at a 5 for now. I can't do it. I can't do it. 5.
That's
My
fair,
worst
fair.
experience so
Look,
far.
again, I don't argue with that.
No.
Like, I get it, I understand, and some people will probably think that I'm being too kind to the movie for what I've said, but, like, I do like the movie. I have fun watching it. I actually the extended cut is better than the theatrical cut. It still runs into a lot of the bigger issues, and this actually, I would like to bring this up, I forgot to. I really like that sequence that was initially cut out of the movie where Hemsworth takes over all the cops and forces them to
Uh,
dance in Times Square. That was cut out of the movie.
oh,
It
was it?
all
I
the
don't remember
stuff,
that.
yeah. So it
I
was
watched the
not,
extended
yeah,
version, by the way. So I
yeah.
watched. That's the one I watched.
So that was that scene was taken out of the movie, but then when you watch the credits, it was still in the credit sequence. So it was
Gotcha.
really weird and really jarring because like, wait, and that's like a huge sequence.
Right. Right.
A lot of money went into that. They cut it out. And I actually really like that scene. It's really fun. It's really playful. Again, it's one of the moments that makes it feel a little more cartoony, probably, but like it works. It's funny. It helps that, Michael K. Williams is front and center of that with Matt Walsh, who are both very funny in this movie.
Yeah.
But like,
Didn't even mention them at all, honestly.
no, well, because they're characters, again, those are great characters who, one, there's two things I could say about those characters. One, those characters really should have just been there if this was in canon
Right.
and were people who were covering up everything, and
Right.
or they should have been revealed to be Men in Black.
Right. That would be great. That would have been great, honestly. Think about that. That could have been great. But oh well, what do
Yeah.
you do?
So anyway, I
All
digress.
right,
Yeah, that's that, man.
that's it. PG, where can the folks find you?
You guys can find me wherever social medias are sold at PJ_Campbell. You can find me here hanging out with this handsome gentleman, talking all things movies. Here on this channel, we have a really nice time doing that. I hope that you guys are enjoying the series as much as we are. If you haven't already, hit like and subscribe, and also check out our Patreon, please, and
Yes.
thank you. Keep the lights on.
Patreon.com/PLD Projects. We are
As
actually
you can
doing
see, I'm missing lights right now. I can't afford to have lighting in this room. So you need to hit that Patreon link so that we can get
that's
some more
right.
lighting.
MCU. We're doing the MCU rewatch on or watch through, I should say, on the Patreon at this point, which will go live. We'll start to dole them out. We're like 6 months ahead, like it's been about 6 months, give or take. So we recorded them back like April, somewhere around there. We are now actually recording Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 next week. I believe that's what we're on, right? That's right, Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
That sounds right because that's after.
Doctor
Yeah. That
Strange.
sounds right.
Yeah. So we just finished Doctor Strange. So all of from Iron Man to Doctor Strange are already available on the Patreon as of now, or on the YouTube membership. I should say that as well. And yeah, we'll be back in 2 weeks, back on the main channel here, continuing like we said with Men in Black International. Movie I'm very interested in rewatching. I was not the biggest fan when I first watched it. We'll have to see if a second viewing helps that or not. I'm hoping at least it's better than this one for me. That's what I'm hoping for. We'll find out, I guess. I also want to shout out real quick. I just want to throw it out there. Everybody who's reached out and let me know and give me positivity thoughts. Obviously, had some stuff going on here, which is why I've had the schedule be a little bit wonky here. The wife has had some surgery issues or some hip issues, and it's a long process I'm going through. I don't want to go through the whole thing, but it has caused a little bit me pausing some things here and there and trying to reschedule things. Hopefully we'll get back to full usual schedule the next couple of weeks. I'm hoping for. We're not going away there. PJ and I are back on. That's the one definitive one. I'm still doing weekly. I need to keep at least one going to keep my sanity, as it were. But no, we're gonna review should come back out. I think we're gonna Lego and I'm gonna record on November 9th. We're gonna resume and it'll go back out that week. Holy Snokes, I'm not sure yet. I have to talk with Maddie about that. Or my Star Wars one, not this week. Will not return this week. Hopefully next week with our look at Vision season 3, which comes out. I think my Crown Jewels comes out every week still. Mostly I took a couple weeks off. I'm gonna get back to that hopefully next week as well. But stay tuned. I'll let you know as soon as I know. I try to post stuff in the community posts to keep you guys aware of things. So I appreciate that. But again, I appreciate everybody reaching out and giving me the positivity. It's always good to hear. So thank you very much. And I guess that does it. We will see you next time here. Like, subscribe, all that stuff we said before. Leave comments. That helps us fight the algorithm. Let us know what you think about this. What are your rankings so far?
Yeah, and trust me, unless you're being a sexist moron about it, I do want to hear what you guys think about this movie. Just don't be a dipshit. And I'm going to say it in the not nicest way possible, because it's only going to,
yes,
you'll prove yourself right in the comments if you act out. But
if you want to act out that way, go ahead. I don't care. I can block you as quickly as anybody else can. So it doesn't matter for me. So help me help me with the algorithm. Why not? All right. We'll see you next time here. As always, PJ and I. Yeah. Take care, guys.
Bye, friends.